to this live chat facility tutorial. We have had a lot of questions recently about the chat facility and how to use it, so let's get into the video. The chat facility is built with students in mind, with a tool that doesn't need to be parent or teacher led. Each of our pages are linked to the person behind the broadcast, even after it's finished, so you can always ask your questions and get a response about the broadcast. So, let's have a look at how to use the chat facility. To use the chat facility, the first thing to do is to type your comment or question into the chat box. You can now enter your screen name. Your screen name will show when you type your question or comment. Now you will see the chat facility ask for your email address. As I mentioned before, each of our pages are linked to people from the organisation who can reply to your questions. You can enter your email address, which will not be shared with anyone, to get a direct response from the people behind the broadcast. If you do not want a direct response, then click the button at the bottom. People behind the broadcast can still respond to you if you don't provide your email address. This just means you may have to come back to the page to check the response. To type your question, simply click on the chat box. You will then see two symbols appear. The @ symbol will mean your comment or question will be posted publicly for others to see. The email symbol means your comment or question can be sent directly to the person of your choice from the list that will appear. You can now speak to the people behind the broadcast and ask any questions you may have, or check out our partner pages to see the companies we work with who you can speak to right now about their current vacancies. You can also check out our careers page, which connects you to employers. Our live chat service is linked 24/7 to employers from a wide range of sectors, all waiting to hear from you. You can leave a question about how to produce a professional CV or how to prepare for interviews, anything work related, and one of our businesses will respond to you directly. You can also access a wide variety of live interactive broadcasts and video on demand with the live chat support on all pages. Now this bit is for the parents, guardians and teachers. The best bit about the live chat facility is that it is completely moderated, so you don't need to worry if your young person leaves a silly comment, as it will only show on their screen and no one else's. Another great thing about the chat facility is that it is GDPR protected, so no information is shared with anyone else. We will protect all email addresses and will never share personal information of the young people. If you have any questions about the chat facility or the Learn Live channel, please use the email us icon at the top of the page. Thank you, stay safe and stay tuned.
Hello again everyone. This afternoon we're going to think about the interior of your building and how it might look. Hurrett Watt University experts are going to take you through key ideas to help you create a mood board. This is your last broadcast before Friday morning. Tomorrow you will spend the day putting all your ideas together into and creating a 3D model. But don't forget, construction professionals are on hand to answer any questions you might have after this broadcast. Indeed, they're here all week for you at any time during the day, so don't forget you can ask your questions after the broadcast via the live chat, which is situated next to the video player. I'm now going to hand over to the rest of the broadcast.
This video on creating a mood board for your interior spaces follows on from the development of the plan that you've been working on. Once you've got a fair idea of the plan, you need to focus on what the spaces are like inside. And that includes thinking about furniture and layouts, but also about the position of lights, the size or heights of windows, the way that people move around the space, and particularly now thinking about materials, textures, and colour. These things are all communicated best by trying to select a collection of samples and put them together. And that gives your client, or the judges in this case, a good idea of the sorts of spaces that you want to create without you having to draw everything in great detail. So we're looking here for you to collect a series of images, colours, or textures, or materials, which help us to understand what you want it to be like inside that space. I'm not an expert at this. I'm going to hand over to someone who is. Alison Hamilton Pride is an assistant professor at Heriot-Watt University, and she's an interior and environmental designer, and she'll be able to help you with creating a mood board.
Hi, my name is Alison Hamilton. I am an interior and environmental designer, and I'm also an assistant professor for Heriot-Watt University. So when I'm teaching, I teach to a wide variety of built environment students, usually to do with design and the design process. So today I'd love to share with you some top tips about creating a mood board for your materials and specifications for the inside of the building that you're designing. So I hope that you find it constructive and helpful, and I'm really looking forward to seeing those finished designs. So when you're thinking about the interior of your building, you have to really think about who is going to be using this space. Who is the building actually for? If it's a public building, there's going to be lots of different people using this space, from older adults to young children to people with disabilities. So we need to make sure that this space is inclusive and accessible for all. And we need to make sure we're doing that when we're selecting our materials and specifications. So think about these carefully, the types of seating, the furniture that you use, the floor coverings, the wall colours, and any sort of lighting specifications that you might have within the space. Make sure that it's appropriate for the people that it will be using for its purpose. So there are two different types of mood board that you could create. You could create a paper mood board, so an actual sort of physical one. So you would need a piece of paper or a piece of card, and if you have some glue, that would be really helpful, and a pair of scissors. And if you have any of these sort of colour swatches lying around the house, those are also a really great thing to have, to use, to put on the mood board. This gives us an idea of the types of colours that you might want to put on. And also if you have any sort of magazines around as well, some photographs that you could cut out, that would really help to build the mood board. And also if you have any little scraps of materials or old clothing that is no longer being used, you could use these to sort of cut up little swatches, and you could stick them onto the mood board as well. If you don't want to create an actual physical mood board, we could look at creating a digital mood board. So I love using digital mood boards, and there's lots of different apps, online softwares that you can actually use to keep a record of your mood board. So we could look at that as well. So thank you for watching.
I hope that's given you a pretty good idea of how to progress with this task. I'm now going to hand over to Iris from the student team Esteem to talk a bit about her experience of creating an interior design concept with the other students in Team Esteem.
In regards of the interior design, about the furniture, colors and texture, we are trying to find a unique style that comes from an international background. So we are trying to use different colors in each room to make it unique. However, also to make it fresh and modern for not only an Arabic culture, but also an international one. And one of the unique things from the interior design team is that we are trying to make our own furniture. So our team members are creating their own furniture, taking in consideration the measurements that is for everybody's need. And we are trying to incorporate really nice material as the CLT in the bathroom and in another rooms to make the house try to have like an equilibrium from the outside to the inside.
Welcome to this live chat facility tutorial. We have had a lot of questions recently about the chat facility and how to use it, so let's get into the video. The chat facility is built with students in mind, with a tool that doesn't need to be parent or teacher led. Each of our pages are linked to the person behind the broadcast, even after it's finished, so you can always ask your questions and get a response about the broadcast. So, let's have a look at how to use the chat facility. To use the chat facility, the first thing to do is to type your comment or question into the chat box.